Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mayor, go ahead and start with the swearing in of the new patrolman.
Absolutely. May I see Ryan? Ryan, welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. So please raise your right hand, put your left hand, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Ryan T. Krempa,
I, Ryan T. Krempa,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the laws of the Charter of the City of Wickliffe,
and the laws of the Charter of the City of Wickliffe,
and that I will, in all respects,
and that I will, in all respects,
faithfully discharge my duties
faithfully discharge my duties
as a patrolman
as a patrolman
of the City of Wickliffe Police Department
of the City of Wickliffe Police Department
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
Congratulations. Here, Ryan. Ryan, I need you to just sign. Good to go? Well, oh, there we go.
Congratulations, brother.
You guys don't have to stay, you can actually exit if you want to leave.
Unless you want to stay.
Yeah, I mean, you can stay, you don't have to now. Okay, I call to order the Wickliffe City Council meeting of March 24th, 2025. Sandy, please call the roll.
Hale.
Here.
Gerhardstein.
Here.
Jaworski.
Here.
Koski. Here. Levon.
Here.
Saloto.
Here.
Thielman.
Here.
Approval of council minutes. Councilman Gerhardstein.
I make a motion, we approve the council minutes from March 10th, 2025.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, seconded by Councilwoman Sloto, that the meeting minutes of March 10th, 2025 be approved as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Hale.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Koski. Yes. Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Reports and communications from the Mayor, Safety Director.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. First, a reminder of the state of the city. I wanted to remind everyone about that. It will be the presentation from the city will take place Tuesday, April 15th at the Community Center beginning at 6:30. And then city administration, myself, as well as Superintendent Spicia will be speaking that evening. Tonight on tonight's agenda is the final reading of the 2025 budget. Unfortunately, we've had a net profit tax of almost $900,000 that we had to repay, and this had a huge impact on our budget. We believe capital's in a good place, and the only other cuts, if we had to make cuts, would be in regard with the salaries. My goal when I got into office 3 years ago was to build back up the staff with all of you and your help, and to ensure the growth and development of the city of Wickliffe while providing the services that the residents have come to expect. I believe we'll continue towards this goal, and I hope that everybody's in support of the budget, and that's all I have.
Any questions or comments for the Mayor, Safety Director? Thank you, Mayor. Reports and communications from the Director of Law.
The only one thing I have to report is that the executive session that we had scheduled for tonight is canceled. Our insurance counsel was unable to make it tonight. So we'll do the executive session at our next regular meeting. I'm sure everybody's disappointed that we won't be able to stay after the meeting. But he'll be at the next regular meeting. Had a family conflict, wasn't able to make it. So I'll make sure he comes next time. We can talk about that issue, and that's all I have, Mr. Council President.
Any comments or questions for the Law Director? Thank you, Jeremy. Communications from Council President, I have none. Amendments or additions to the agenda? I guess the only amendment will be based on what the Law Director just said. We'll remove line item 18, executive session, and move up miscellaneous from 19 to 18, and adjournment from 20 to 19. Any other amendments or additions to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to administrators. Police Chief Bush.
Thank you, Council President Obama. I just have a couple things. One thing, the issue with the SRO reimbursement money, I met with Mr. Specia today, and we're gonna devise some type of payment plan where we're gonna get that money back from the 2023, 2024 years that were underpaid. So I'll work with him and we'll get some type of payment plan that they're gonna get the monies paid back. So that's taken care of. And then I just wanted to thank the Civil Service Commission for meeting so quickly and getting everything done so we could get this last officer hired. It made it very smooth this time. That's all I have.
Any questions or comments for the police chief? Councilman Bala.
So with a new hire now, and then we have someone going on leave, what are we at? Are we minus one still?
We're one short still,
One
yeah,
short.
and we're gonna hold off, I believe, until the end of the year to look to hire somebody just so we can save a little bit of money.
Are we looking at any retirements at all this year?
No.
Okay,
One dispatcher will be retiring, but that'll be effective in 2026, but he'll basically be done at the end of 2025.
okay.
So we'll start looking for a full-time dispatcher towards the end of 2025.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
Sure.
Any further questions or comments for the police chief? Thank you, Chief. Fire Chief Grossman is absent today, but he's filling in by Captain Mahalik. Captain Mahalik, do you have a fire report?
Yes. Thank you, Council President. Chief Grossman asked me to fill in and asked me to speak to a couple of incidents in the last couple of weeks we've had here that we want to bring to your attention. The first being hazardous materials incidents at High Tech Metals, 28910 Lakeland Avenue. This occurred on March the 15th. Kind of a bigger incident for us. We called in 6 other agencies from around us, surrounding communities, also the county hazmat team. The hazardous material, and you have the safety data sheet or the chemical sheet in front of you and an after action report, but it was anhydrous ammonia. It's leaking on the side of the building. That was the initial call from to dispatch. We responded, our units quickly recognized that there was a hazard. We're in full PPE, including SCBA and turnout gear. And as it turned out, we were approaching a lethal limit leaking from that tank. Pretty close. Eventually, hazmat team arrived, mitigated the circumstances pretty easily. They were in, again, you have a picture of the level A suits that they were in, and the facility is taking care of the remainder of the issue. So the leak was stopped, no evacuations were made, and it was brought to safe resolution. That was just before midnight that day. The second one was at 2484 Delaware in the backyard. Gentleman had been open burning some yard waste, and unfortunately due to the wind and the dry conditions, a lot of brush caught fire, spanned several backyards, took out a barn in the process, and again, we needed to call in a couple other agencies for assistance. Looks like from the report that they went on Meadowbrook, and Delaware to extinguish that fire. Just so you know, it was an open burning, so he was given a second warning, and the next time it happens, he's fully aware that he'll be cited and it'll go to Will Be court. That's all I have. Questions?
Yeah. Councilwoman Kowski.
If there's an incident like that, shouldn't it just go straight to the, like, beyond a warning?
Not in our, I think the ordinance is 1521. There's we coded in the CAD, the dispatchers are aware of it, and it's the third warning that they actually get a citation.
I know, but like, since something actually happened though, shouldn't there be some kind of disciplinary besides a tap on the hand?
It's been my experience with this type of thing that it's never even gone to the third, so hopefully this is it for this gentleman.
No, but do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I know, but that's the ordinance.
We can always review that ordinance.
Yeah, can we do that, please?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, what was the ordinance?
1521.
1521, I believe.
We'll look into that. Any other questions or comments for the captain? Thank you, Captain Mahalik. Finance Director Hunter.
Thank you, Council President. I have nothing.
Any questions or comments for the Finance Director? Seeing none, thank you, Ms. Hunter. Engineer Formica.
Thank you, Council President. A couple things. Kobe Pond dredging is,
Golf course?
Golf course, Green Ridge or Colby?
Kobe Green Ridge, yes. Wow, excuse me. Green Ridge Pond dredging is, the dredging is complete. Final grading needs to be taken care of when things dry up around the edges of the pond and along the number 8 pathway. If you'll see in my report, I did submit a couple of applications for congressional funding for our number 1 priority to replace traffic controllers. Half of our traffic controllers that are in need to be replaced. I asked for about $500,000, $470,000. And the other one, the other application we asked for some sewer lining funding. We are making gains on our exfiltration, infiltration problem that we have in the city, and this would help. So, talked with the service director, and we decided to ask for funding for those types of projects. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any questions or comments for the city engineer? Councilman Gerhardstein.
Pete, so I thought we did ask, and you and I had this conversation earlier this week, but I thought we did ask during construction of the new housing development on Old School Way, we'll call it now, that we asked about them not having the construction equipment on Silver Street because it was brand new. And I know when they originally cut in the sewer line, they were there, but I'm questioning why they're not using access either onto Lincoln or onto Euclid Avenue, since Euclid Avenue is going to be replaced in 2 years, why they're on a brand new street with trucks. I mean,
it is a public street, Councilman, yeah, and as we discussed the other day, I know that they're staging their equipment and whatnot at the old bank drive-through lot, let's call it. I know there's parking their equipment. It's supposed to be bringing stuff in through there, but bringing in materials and pipe and stone on an already, they had to cut out the road and they're laying the stone as they go and whatnot. I would imagine they're still going to be using that road for access for those types of things. If there's, if they're loading out dirt and whatnot, maybe they can try to use coming off of Lincoln or Euclid Avenue. Would be a mess on Euclid Avenue, but just because we have once they stone in a road, then you've got, a clean access to get your trucks out and whatnot, and not track mud all over the place. It's just another good point of using that road. So, I don't recall council instructing you not to use Silver Street or telling the contractor. I know that Ray has gone over there and talked to the developer, told him to, you know, minimize as much as possible, but I'll let him speak to that, but.
I just do not go around. Just use that short section to get in there for access, that's it. Do not go past.
Okay. I thought we talked about this before, but I may have been mistaken.
I don't recall it, but okay.
Any further questions or comments for the city engineer? Councilman Jaworski.
Pete, just, could you please remind everyone what will be the streets, if this budget passes, that will be part of the road program for this upcoming year?
Yes, what's in the budget are for Parkwood and Cary, water line replacement and paving, a joint project we're doing with the Lake County Water Department, and our 2025 slab replacement program, which is gonna be predominantly on East 300th Street. And third was the Euclid Avenue resurfacing, preparing the plans and specs for that for ODOT. Ridge Road is already encumbered, and as a matter of fact, we sent final plans to ODOT last week for Ridge Road. And there's something on the agenda this evening for an agreement that needs to be passed so that we can further that along.
You saw the floor, Councilman Jaworski.
Thank you. Mr. Council President, if you don't mind, then I would like to make a motion to allow the engineer to prepare the plans and specs for the Euclid Avenue project for the 2025 slab replacement program and for the Parkwood and Cary Lane project as well.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Jaworski, second by Councilman Gerhardstein to authorize the city engineer to make plans and specs for the Parkwood Drive and Cary Lane water replacement, sewer repair, and pavement resurfacing project, the Euclid Avenue pavement and streetscape improvement project, and the 2024 pavement repair program, concrete slab replacement program. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballot.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Solota.
Yes.
Seelman.
Yes. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for the city engineer? Thank you, Mr. Formica. Service Director Kravchuk.
Thank you, Council President Levon. I have a couple things to add. Tomorrow I'm meeting with Verdantis inspector to do the 2024 road program. We're gonna be marking out some slabs and stuff. We're gonna start on Rush Road and we're gonna continue on from there. But also during that time, Pete and I are also gonna meet with Jogga Highway about the punch list for the streets that they paved last year also. About a couple of things like Robert Street, Ricky Lane has some issues, Luxona, so we'll be meeting with them. And that's all I got.
Any questions or comments for the Service Director? Councilman Jaworski.
When will Kimball begin to pick up yard waste again, or have
They have started, yeah. It was March 3rd, March 1st, but that Monday.
Any other questions or comments for the Service Director? Thank you, Dave. Building Commissioner Sack.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I have one thing, Councilman Bernstein is gonna call for a legislation and welfare meeting. I'd like to add amending procedures, chapter 1341 for fees, if I could, in that meeting.
Well, he'll have to call for the meeting, but I can add Chapter 1341 to the Legislation and Welfare Committee.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Council President, he wants to add zoning, that he wants it to go under zoning fees for changing of the zoning, is what he's after.
Yeah, if you just want, if I put the Chapter 1341 in there, you can call for that meeting, and then you guys can touch on exactly what you guys want to change.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions or comments for the Building Commissioner? Councilman Jaworski.
Ray, just to confirm for anyone watching this meeting, but the next Planning Commission meeting will be held down at the Senior Center instead of Council Chambers?
That is correct. Sandy's got it all set up and we're ready to go.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Kowski.
What's the date of that, date and time?
April 3rd at 7 o'clock.
Any other questions or comments for the Building Commissioner? Ray, per that conversation with the city engineer and Councilman Gertz, I would appreciate it if you try to, if Loretta or the the developer tries to stay out silver as much as possible. If you can
Yeah.
enforce that as much, and just
Yeah.
remind them, please, to use the other roads. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sack. Recreation Director, stop.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I have nothing to add to my previous report.
Any questions or comments for the Recreation Director? Councilwoman Koski.
How is pavilion rental going?
Going well, yeah, we have, I don't have an exact number for you, but we've been getting a lot of reservations, so we're in a good spot, so we're good.
Have we defined the cost of the pool passes this year yet, or has it been an
The
exception?
same. The same.
Nothing changing? Okay. Any other questions or comments for the Recreation Director? Thank you, Tim. I will now open the floor for audience participation. If anyone would like to speak, please stand and state your name for the council clerk's record. She has a microphone that has to be used because we're using this is being videotaped and videoed. So if you'd like to address Wickliffe City Council, please stand and state your name and get the microphone from council clerk, please. Mr. Troy.
Thank you. Mr. President, members of council, Mayor. Yeah, I want to give you a couple of updates. I'm State Representative Daniel Troy. I represent the city of Wickliffe and many other communities in Western Lake County and Eastern Lake County. But the most important thing I want to talk about is on the May 6th ballot, we will have what's called State Issue 2. There is no State Issue 1. It's going to be State Issue 2 because what we did, we passed a law last year in the legislature. People were getting confused because we had too darn many issue ones over the last couple of years, so we're going to consecutively number those going up, something that like places like California do. So the next state issue you'll see next time will be issue 3. But issue 2 renews the Ohio Public Works program. This is a program that actually I was a co-sponsor of the legislation creating it way back in the late 80s. It's been renewed 4 different times. But it's authorization, it needs constitutional authorization from the voters, and it expires on July 1st of this year. So myself and State Representative Scott Oschlager from Stark County, a Republican member, introduced bipartisan legislation, as we were 2 people who were there when we first initiated this, to put this on the ballot so that we could continue this program. So it will be on the ballot on May the 6th. We certainly need you to encourage everyone to support this because it's been a very good program for the city of Wickliffe. And I have here a list of all the projects that the city of Wickliffe has gotten out of this program in its history. Approximately $9.8 million in grants, about $2.5 million in 0% interest loans. That's under the SKIP program, State Capital Improvement Program. But then the LTIP program, which is Local Transportation Improvement Program, you've received about $3.9 million to assist on that. And some of the recent projects that have had a lot of participation in that over the last couple of years were the two phases of Lakeland Boulevard road repavement improvements. The East 296th Street, Water Street, Main, Ridge Road pavement improvements, and the just recent Rush Road concrete pavement slab replacement. Significant amount of money that has come from the state of Ohio that the city of Wickliffe would not have to come with the money. Very important, there is no taxes involved with this issue. This is a state bond issue. Up till now, it's been about $2 billion over a 10-year period. With inflation and everything, we are increasing it to $2.5 billion over the next 10 years. So about $250 million a year will be available. The state's existing revenues pay the debt service on this, so it's not a bond issue. It does not require any participation or additional participation from the taxpayers. And as you know, the decisions on which projects get funded are all made on the local basis. They're not made in Columbus. They're not made over at District 12. They're made first at the county level through the Engineers Lake County Committee, and then it goes to what's called a district integrating committee, of which Lake, Geauga, Portage, and Ashtabula County are part of that. And those projects, of course, are scored, et cetera. And obviously, Wickliffe projects have scored well over the years because they've been funded. So just want to, encourage, to remind the residents, because May 6th, is not it's not really even a primary election, an odd number year. It's actually a special election. You know, I would have liked to. I think we would like to have got this on the ballot last year, but the ballot was a little bit crowded with some very controversial constitutional amendments. So we certainly need that to be approved so that we can continue with this program for another 10 years and benefit local communities like the city of Wickliffe. So I would appreciate whatever you can do to encourage the voters to make sure they vote on May the 6th. Early voting will probably start sometime in the second week of April. But if they do nothing else, you know, go in there and vote for State Issue 2, which will continue this program for 10 more years. A couple of other things. I know, Mayor, you have questioned me about this. In the governor's budget, he proposed a change in the marijuana taxes. Of course, we did not write that statute. The marijuana statute was written by citizens. It was a citizen-initiated statute. And someone says, well, who did that? I says, probably the people who wanted to use it and the people who wanted to sell it. And so, but one of the things in there was that the host community, if you have a dispensary, gets a portion of those tax revenues. The governor had proposed changing that. I've got a pretty good signal from my colleagues in the leadership in the legislature that we're not going to change that. I mean, the Municipal League, the Township Association, the various local governments have spoke up. So, you know, and I even cautioned on the Ways and Means Committee where I sit when it came up for discussion there, that, you know, you know, we got to be very careful as members of the legislature. We don't sit there and say, well, we know more than the people did when they voted for this thing. It's much too soon to be altering what the people had decided. So hopefully, when this is all said and done, now the budget won't be done till the end of June because it gets through the House. We have to have it in place by July 1st. It'll get through the House sometime in mid-April. It'll go over to the Senate. And then, you know, we'll have to have it passed by July the 1st, but hopefully that money will be protected there. Two other things. The local government fund, I know everybody talks about the local government fund. Right now, the local government fund is 1.7% of all state revenues. The governor has proposed increasing that to 1.75% of all state revenues. So don't spend it all in one place when you get that big increase. But at least it's a step in the right direction where we're not going backwards. Will we ever get back to the share that was there before the Kasich budget administration took it out? I don't think so. I mean, but you know, we'll continue to look at that. And the last thing is, you folks sent me a resolution regarding the sewer situation, and you know, asking, you know, one, can you do anything to seek flexibility with EPA mandates? Unfortunately, most of the EPA mandates on wastewater are coming from the federal government. Now, something tells me that there's going to be a lot less environmental regulations coming out of the federal government these days, just from what, you know, we seem to be hearing. So I don't know what, but we can do it there. In terms of any assistance with federal and state funding, I will give you this. I did talk to the Environmental Protection Agency. The division chief of the Division of Environment and Financial Assistance, Division Chief John Bernstein, I've got his name and number here, and he says grants and low interest options are available to the city of Wickliffe to deal with their particular sewer issues. And Mr. Bernstein recommended that they contact him directly to discuss options. So I will pass this information down to you to talk to the division chief at the Ohio EPA. And I think that's pretty much it, but just wanted to update you on where we're at, stress the importance of issue 2, and you know, certainly am there as your representative to address any other questions or issues that you are facing the city of Wickliffe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Troy.
Would anyone else like to address Wickliffe City Council? Go ahead, Mr. Tomeyer.
Good evening. Dan Tomeyer, 29232 Ridge Road. I'm here tonight as board president of the Wickliffe School Board to offer an invitation to everybody in the room, as well as anybody who is watching in the audience, and please spread the word. What am I talking about? I'm talking about our new Wickliffe campus that we opened in August of 2023. prior to the opening when there was construction going on, as well as latter July, early August, when it was finally completed, we were holding building tours so that people could go and see what was, what their bond issue that they voted on, what was the result of it. And since that time, it's been expressed to us by maybe even some people in this room, and or a lot of residents to myself, my fellow board members and administrators, that they never got a chance to tour, and we're closed on the weekends, obviously, because we're a school, and that you can't come during the day because we got kids and their safety issues and so on and so forth. So I would like to invite the council, the mayor, all the administrators, anyone who'd like, it doesn't even have to be a Wickliffe resident, that on Saturday, the 5th of April, my apologies, Saturday, the 5th of April, from 9 a.m. to noon, the school is sponsoring guided tours. Don't have all the details on what the guided means, other than I think we're going to have some administrators and staff members, and hopefully maybe some students that know the building and can walk groups of people around and answer any questions they have, and obviously get to see our wonderful brand new state-of-the-art facility. What I do want to ask you, though, is as a favor, and Mr. Mayor, I don't know who's in charge of it, but would the city be willing to advertise this on their two, the senior center and the fire station thing? And I could talk to you more about it tomorrow. I don't know how all that works, so if I picked on the wrong person as to who facilitates that, but we kind of would like to get the word out. Again, people had heard through the grapevine about it back then, and they missed it, or they couldn't come for whatever reason, and some said that they just never knew what was going on. We're advertising it on our website. Don't know whether you could do it on your website too, and direct them to our website or whatever, but the biggest thing is, we'd like to, for those that had missed it, or those want to come back and see again, we really would like to come and have them come and see our school. So it's a really beautiful facility, and again, it's for our kids, and a lot of times when kids are in session, the public can't come. And I know people come to basketball games, but you'll be able to see the whole facility. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate the couple minutes to talk to you.
Thank you. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Tolmeyer, I believe it wouldn't be a problem for them to put that on the website.
I can get
April
you more
5th, yeah.
details and so forth, and then, the specific details and all that.
Excellent.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address Wickliffe City Council? Would anyone else like to address Wickliffe City Council? If not, I'll mark audience participation closed. Committee reports? Commission reports. Councilman Gerhardstein.
Board of Zoning Appeals met on February 27th, 2025. The meeting was called to order at 7 p.m. The purpose was the yearly organizational meeting, and there was 2 cases to hear. After the board held their yearly elections, Mr. Bennett was elected chairman, and Mr. Nichols was vice chair. Case number 1, on January 29, 2025, David W. Smith, architect, made application for PCC airfoils, requesting 2 variances per section 1315 yard regulations to construct an addition located at 29501 Clayton Avenue in an industrial district. The board members agreed that although the addition would exceed the maximum lot coverage, the location of the building would not cause any issue, and the variances were approved. Case number 2, on February 3rd, 2025, Loretto Davis Lincoln LLC requested 6 variances for 4 lots in the Lincoln Landing Drive subdivision in an R160 residential district. The applicant explained to the board members, due to some of the lot shapes, variances were necessary. It was noted that all the lots were the proper size per zoning regulations. The board members approved all 6 variances for the 4 lots involved. The meeting adjourned at 7:45 p.m. Respectfully submitted.
Any other commission reports? Seeing no old business, moving on to new business A, appointment of new Cape Wickliffe Beautiful Commission member. Mayor?
Yes, so, Miss Jane Hamill, I would like to appoint Miss Jane Hamill,
Hemmelgarn.
Hamilgarn, with a term to expire December 31st, 2026. To be added to the Keep Wickliffe Beautiful Commission.
I'll make a motion to reaffirm the mayor's appointment of Jane Hemmelgarn to the Keep Wickliffe Beautiful Commission with a term to expire December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Moved by Council President Levant, seconded by Councilman Bala, to reaffirm the mayor's appointment of Jane Hemmelgarn on the Keep Wickliffe Beautiful Commission with a term to expire December 31st, 2026. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Hill.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Solotra.
Yes.
Spielman.
Yes.
Okay. Move on to ordinances.
Ordinance number 2025-07 amended. This is the third reading. An ordinance providing appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio for the period beginning January 1st, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2025.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Thielman, seconded by Councilwoman Saloto to adopt ordinance 2025-07 amended as presented. Discussion? Councilman Gerhardstein?
I'm sorry, I'm voting no on this. I'm just not approving a budget that's $1.4 million in deficit.
Councilman Bala?
Well, we've been through a lot of meetings, you know, for the budget. You know, and we spent a lot of time on it, but the ones that are voting no, what have you done? Have you asked us, how can we increase revenue? Have you brought anything to the table to increase revenue? $1.4 million is people. Police, fire, service, whatever you wanna call it. You don't cut like one job out to make $1.4 million out. I think by the end of the year, we're gonna be good. We have a 6.6 carryover. But then I just wanna say, you know, we've been through many meetings, and if you vote no, what have you done? Increase revenue or help the city increase revenue or cut the price down of the deficit? That's all.
Councilwoman Saloto?
I think that was very well put. I wanted to say something similar. I mean, we have been through this budget quite a bit, and we have looked for every possible, you know, way to eliminate some of the expense. Or, you know, we've really spent some time on this, and it doesn't look as if we have much of a choice at this point. I believe we will be okay at the end of the year, and I just think voting no, just to vote no, to say that you voted no, is not really helping the city, because we're really trying to move forward. We need, you know, we need things, we need to spend this money, and this is how, you know, it panned out this year. But I don't think, you know, we are being frivolous in any way with the city's funds. So I think it's something we need to do.
Councilman Gerhardstein?
I think that's, the comment's funny, that if you vote no, what have you done? I think if you look at the finance committee minute meetings, the ones that might vote no are the only ones that ask questions during the finance meeting. So when you had what have you done, I think maybe people should go back and read the minutes and find out who actually asked the questions about revenue or expenses before a comment like that is made by any of the members on that committee. So before you ask what have you done, maybe you should go back and read the minutes and who actually asked the questions in those meetings.
Councilwoman Saloto?
So many times the questions were asked, but there was nothing we could necessarily do about that particular issue, and we didn't come up with any resolutions or any, you know, ways to get around that necessary expense. So, I mean, just to ask questions, I guess, is a great idea, but if you don't have a solution, then the questions don't really mean all that much.
Any further discussion on the adoption? Councilman Thielman?
I'll just say that we've only been presented with one budget. Nobody else has presented any other budget. And the questions asked wouldn't have added up to 1.4. 900,000 of it is a big net profit refund. So
we're pretty much in line with our past. Doesn't feel as good because we're not doing as many roads, but we have a huge chunk we gotta pay for Euclid Avenue for design and engineering. I mean, that was, kinda came on the backside, right? You know, we weren't talking about that in committee. So, I think it seems to be in line with past budgets, and that's all I got to say. I'm voting yes.
Any further discussion on the adoption? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
No.
Jaworski.
No.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
No.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 2025-08, this is also the third reading. Excuse me. An ordinance providing for the compensation of appointed officials of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and repealing any and all other ordinances or parts thereof that may be inconsistent with this ordinance.
Adoption.
Moved by Councilman Thielman, seconded by Councilman Bella, to adopt ordinance 2025-08 as presented. Discussion. Councilman Gerhardstein.
And this ordinance is one of my bigger problems with it. So when we were talking about it, so this ordinance is where you're giving two people 12% raises when you're 1.4. And when you look at the surrounding areas, they're now become the highest paid chiefs in Willowick, Eastlake, and Eastlake even has a higher per capita residents than we do, and that chief been fire chief over there for way more than 2 years. So yeah, that's part of my problem with the original budget is this ordinance here. So that's all I have.
Any further discussion on the adoption? Mayor?
Yeah, I just wanna say those raises, the 12% for both fire chief, police chief, comes to $5,000. So even if that weren't good, it makes no dent. And it's to stay competitive with other cities. Okay, we might be the highest, but there was a reasoning behind so that they weren't passed up by lieutenants because of the raises. So we kinda got them on leveled ground. But again, I hate giving raises. I mean, when you're in, not to say it like that, but nobody likes to give raises. However, it's the way of the times. It's a sign of the times in order to retain talent and keep the services and keep the people here sometimes. But when you look at the cost, it was not higher than $5,000 or something like that between the two chiefs. So it wasn't drastic. It was like $100,000 or something like that.
Councilman Thielman?
Yeah, I'll just say regarding chief salaries, you know, we had a false sense of what police and fire chiefs made because we did a retire and rehire thing without benefits and had like a no raises, so we got into a pickle. And there is a common practice of differential between lieutenants, captains, whatever, you know, goes up the rank and file, and we're just correcting a past problem, and I have no problem with it.
Mayor, when we hired some of these chiefs, did you put a limit or have a discussion with them on the limit of the increases that they were gonna get the first couple of years?
The salary I told them they were fine with, and, you know, they would get how the normal standards, right.
So they were, if the union got 5%, they should have gotten 5%, correct?
Correct.
Right,
I
so
stated that to them.
that when you hired them, and then they proposed a different one, and this council didn't reject it, they just said, okay, because that's what they proposed. Is that a correct assessment?
Correct assessment, but they kind of explained the whole getting passed up by.
Understood.
Then who's gonna take the chief's job at some point, you know, that was their pitch.
Sure.
So,
Correct. I just want to make sure that everybody's understood that. Any further discussion on the adoption? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
No.
Jaworski.
No.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
No.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 2025-09, an ordinance providing for the compensation of certain salaried and hourly employees of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and repealing any and all other ordinances or parts thereof that may be inconsistent with this ordinance, and this is also the third reading.
Adoption.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Thielman, second by Councilwoman Saloto to adopt ordinance 2025-09 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 2025-10, an ordinance providing for the compensation of certain employees of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and repealing any and all other ordinances or parts thereof that may be inconsistent with this ordinance. This is also the third reading.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Thielman, second by Councilman Bala to adopt ordinance 2025-10 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 2025-11 amended. This is also the third reading. An ordinance providing for the compensation and other employment provisions for part-time firefighters of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and repealing any and all other ordinances or parts thereof that may be inconsistent with this ordinance.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Thielman, second by Councilwoman Saloto to adopt ordinance 2025-11 amended as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 2025-12, also the third reading. An ordinance providing for the compensation and other employment provisions for special police officers of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and repealing any and all other ordinances or parts thereof that may be inconsistent with this ordinance. This is also the third reading.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Saloto, seconded by Councilman Thielman to adopt ordinance 2025-12 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 2025-13, this is also the third reading. An ordinance providing for the compensation and other employment provisions for the part-time public safety dispatchers of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and repealing any and all other ordinances or parts thereof that may be inconsistent with this ordinance.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Bala, seconded by Councilwoman Saloto to adopt ordinance 2025-13 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 2025-16, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio to enter into an LPA federal ODOT LET project preliminary agreement, PID number 112506 for resurfacing of Bishop Road, Ridge Road, State Route 84 in the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Thielman, seconded by Councilman Gerhardstein to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2025-16 on third and final reading. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, seconded by Councilwoman Saloto to adopt ordinance 2025-16 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Ballard.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Ordinance passes. Resolutions.
Resolution number 2025-02, a resolution authorizing the Director of Finance of the City of Wickliffe, Ohio to issue payment of Community Reinvestment Area Compensation Agreement to the Board of Education of the Wickliffe City School District for tax year 2024 pursuant to resolution number 2020-08 and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, seconded by Councilman Bala to suspend the rules of council and place resolution 2025-02 on third and final reading. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bella.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Steelman.
Yes.
Suspension.
Adoption.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, second by Councilman Bella to adopt resolution 2025-02 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bella.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Steelman.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution number 2025-03, a resolution proclaiming April 2025 Child Abuse Prevention Month in the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Saloto, second by Councilman Gerhardstein to suspend the rules of council and place resolution 2025-03 on third and final reading. Discussion? Councilman Gerhardstein.
Can we ask the law director to read the resolution for the people so they understand exactly how many kids this affects in Lake County?
At least the third paragraph, I think it has actual numbers on it. There it has, there.
Third whereas. I'll do the first three.
Okay, thank you.
Whereas all children of the community have the right to live and grow in a safe, secure, and supportive environment, enter school prepared to succeed, be able to choose healthy behaviors, and grow to successful adulthood. And whereas we, the leaders of this community, acknowledge that those rights are not always available to all children, and although there has been significant progress to increase the safety and security of our children, we renew our commitment to protecting our most valuable resource. And whereas during 2024, Lake County Children's Services responded to nearly 1,500 calls regarding children and their families, and as a result, Children's Services worked with approximately 1,000 children who presented with a variety of issues which could not be easily resolved.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on the suspension? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bella.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Steelman.
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, second by Councilman Bella to adopt resolution 2025-03 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bella.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Steelman.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution number 2025-04, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the cities of Wickliffe and Willoughby for the LAK-SR-84-01.00 project, PID 112506, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, second by Councilman Thielman to suspend the rules of council and place resolution 2025-04 on third and final reading. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bella.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Steelman.
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, second by Councilman Thielman to adopt resolution 2025-04 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Bella.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Levon.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Steelman.
Yes.
Resolution passes. Other legislation?
Under miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous,
Yeah.
Councilman Ballard?
That's right, yeah, I just wanna say, over the last week here, we lost, two longtime residents of Maryland Powell and of course, Tom Rosnick. They've been here forever, again, to me, I think they both were icons in this city. Tom Rosnick, teacher, coach, mentor, many people. I just wanna say prayers out to their family, great people.
School board member too.
Huh?
He was a school board member too.
School board member too. But yeah, I just say, again, prayers out to the family, and they were dearly missed, for sure.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other thing, anything else miscellaneous? Councilman Jaworski?
Yeah, I'd like to call for an improvement committee meeting on March 31 to discuss the old Schoolway Street dedication.
Okay, well,
7 p.m., please.
all right, we'll call for an improvement committee meeting on March 31st at 7 p.m. here in council chambers for street dedication. Councilman
Can I
Gerhardstein?
call for a legislation meeting to follow that for incomplete building projects, chapter 1303.70, occupancy and the one that the building commissioner added tonight,
1341.
1341,
Just,
to follow Mr. Jaworski's meeting.
incomplete building projects, chapter 1303.70 occupancy, and chapter 1341.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Sack, you're ready for all three of those, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we'll call for Legislation and Welfare Committee to follow the Improvement Committee to discuss incomplete building projects, chapter 1303.70 occupancy, and chapter 1341. Anything else under miscellaneous? Now, entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Gerhardstein, seconded by Councilman Thielman to adjourn the meeting. Discussion? Sandy, please call the roll.
Mallon.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski.
Yes.
Saloto.
Yes.
Thielman.
Yes.
Mr. Gaten, Levon.
Yes.
That is there.